James Lynch here for MMA News. Happy to be joined by the number 3 ranked women's bantamweight, Aspen Ladd, live on location from the Ladd household. Aspen, how's it going?
It's going pretty darn good. Thank you for having me on.
Of course. It's great to hear from you. We got a lot to talk about here today, believe it or not, even though you haven't fought in a while. But first, let's start with Halloween. We just had it on the weekend. Did you get up to anything?
All right. It's the same thing as always. I went out hiking on Halloween, so I wasn't getting dressed up or going anywhere. But, yeah, I enjoyed it.
That's good. Do you dress the dogs up for Halloween or no?
Oh, they'd hate me, no.
I was going to say, yeah, they probably wouldn't enjoy it. I didn't even bother to do it with my cat this year because didn't want to get him upset. So there you go. But a lot of people know about the injury you suffered, unfortunate news. But, this turned into a bit of a positive for you. We'll talk about that in a second. But first, how are things going with the knee injury as you're recovering?
The knee's going really, really good, actually. I think I'm like 3.5 months right now, a little bit more. Recovery is right on track. It's actually a little bit ahead of schedule, but I'm doing everything that the PTs say exactly down to a T. And the second it's strong enough and I'm good to go, I'll be back.
Yes, and it's been cool to watch your journey, just on social media. I know you've been putting in the work, the rehab and all that. Do you have sort of an idea at present moment when you would be getting back to full-time training? Do you have sort of a timeline for that? I'm
back into boxing now, and I'm starting to do a little bit of speed work, things like that. But as far as full-on training, the very last thing is going to be wrestling for me. Probably not till the end of December, beginning of January.
Don't want to risk it, especially with the knee injury, right? I'm sure the slow and steady approach is how you're sort of dealing with this. It must be difficult, though, because you're used to training all the time. I know Jim, your coach, has often said, you got to cool it down a little bit. You can't train too much. So how have you been dealing with that? I guess you've just been putting the effort into your rehab as opposed to actual training.
Yeah, it's like a really long rehab fight camp because I'm busy all day long with it, and I've been going a little bit insane, but having something to focus on has made it better. So I can't train as much, although I'm starting to be able to, which is great, but it's really just putting all that time and effort every single day into the rehab part of it.
And obviously it's great to hear that things are going ahead of schedule. Again, sticking with the timeline here, is it probably safe to say probably spring next year, maybe summer next year is when we could see you return? I know we're looking very far ahead here, but I know a lot of fans want to know when they're going to see you in the cage again.
We're probably looking at spring 2021.
Okay. That's good. But I should mention to people, you've been very busy. Like I mentioned, this has kind of been a blessing in disguise for you because I know it's allowed you to work on things outside the cage, including your brand. You got your website coming out. I don't know if people are aware of that, but let's start first with just linking up with, this business manager you've been working with, Amanda. How cool has this been, getting to work on you as a brand, putting on that entrepreneur's hat?
Oh, Amanda's been great. So this is part of the whole not going insane thing. And some fighters do it. A lot of us don't really focus enough on our own brand, our own business. But trying to keep busy and having a little extra time, I've been really focusing on that side of things, and it's been great.
And I'm sure you see it as sort of a good timing for everything, because this is probably something you wouldn't have done if you were fighting, because the focus is always on training. Now you have a chance to improve that area. And it's one of those things too, where I think it's going to help you after your fight career is over, because you're going to have all this, branding done for you ahead of time.
Oh, absolutely. And this is something where I've needed to focus on it for a couple of years, because I've never had the time to, because my whole life is fighting back-to-back camps. There's no time. But when you're forced to sit down and take the time, you should at least try to focus your efforts towards something worthwhile.
One of the cool things is, I had a chance to actually have a look at the website. I know it hasn't gone up yet, but there's a lot of really cool features. And what I really love about this is that it's utilizing things that you're really interested in, your trail hikes with your dogs. It's very much centered around your interests. How happy were you that was being able to be featured on the website? Because I think it's not like you're going out of your comfort zone and doing something you don't like. It's actually highlighting things that you're already doing.
No, I was thrilled, because if I'm not fighting, I'm hiking, and that's a huge part of my life. And now I'm able to really turn that into part of the business. And not only that, I'm creating partnerships with some pretty big brands and businesses along those lines. So I don't just have the fighting aspect of life. I got the hiking, the fighting, all of it kind of coming together. So for anything that I do, it's all got to be cohesive and come together as far as a plan. So it's not just one or the other.
And there's a lot of cool features on the website. One of them that I like is it shows the trails that you've done. You've also given sort of a review of the trails that you've gone on. There's a store to buy merchandise that you got a really cool logo up there. What are some of the other features that are on there? Also, there's stories on, your family, your dogs. It's just, there's a lot that sort of goes into this. How interesting is it for you just to be able to share that side of yourself, which we really only see on the photos on Instagram?
It's fun. It's a lot of fun because in certain interviews, certain things will come out. Like, I have a great family. I have a huge bunch of siblings, and I'm very blessed in that aspect. And as far as the dogs and everything else go, I don't know if we talked about like the things I'm working on with this guy back here, but there's so much going on right now outside of the fighting realm and linked to the fighting realm. So it's kind of cool to be able to get that all out online and together.
And let's talk about that with Chevy. Obviously, he's got the prosthetic leg, and I know you're working with a company that's trying to sort of spread the word about this because, if a dog loses a limb, we don't really hear much about what happens to that dog. But I know you're working with sort of an innovative company to not only spread awareness, but also help your dog out so he can still go hiking. How rewarding has that experience been so far?
All right, so Chevy back there, he's like the giant guinea pig for a new type of prosthetic. So rear leg amputees like him where it's higher up, nothing's really been successful. So I'm working together with Bionic Pets and Design, and we are trying to create a functional working rear leg prosthetic. And as I said, he's a giant guinea pig. We're in the beginning stages right now, but it's going well. And if it continues to keep going this way, because he's bearing weight, he's tapping it, he's using it, it's going to help a lot of dogs in the future. So he's kind of like a big gimpy pioneer.
It is, and it's very cool to see. And I know you're very close with your dogs. And I think one of the other cool things is like on the website, it really sort of tells, the story behind the dogs, their names, how you got them, all that stuff. It must also be kind of nice to, when people think of you, they think of your fight career, but you're really exposing yourself to all these different audiences, including, the hiking community, the animal community. I'm sure just getting to spread the word about this, like I said, this innovative technology that you're doing. How interesting has that been just to, expose yourself to an audience that you probably wouldn't have before?
It's fun because it's something that I enjoy doing. Everything's learned as far as like the interviews, interactions, but it's nice being able to talk about something and get it out there, even if it's scary sometimes, that I enjoy doing. So it's a little easier to speak on it. The
other thing as well, that I know you got a little bit of this when you had before the Durandamy fight, but I know you're working with the fight game people, which do sort of like an embedded behind the scenes look. How has that been? Because again, you got to be pretty vulnerable, pretty, they're following every aspect of your life, but I know that's something you wanted to get out there. How has it been, just working with a camera crew now and having that part of your life told?
I've worked with it's been a few times now for the UFC, and we actually did a really in-depth one for this last fight that would have happened. Well, the one before that. So I'm used to that. The filming with the fight game series is going to begin in December, and I've worked with him before, and he's great. He's pretty, it's not as scary as you think it is until, you kind of get into it. Mm-hmm. It's a little scary, but it's not terrible. But I feel like I'll be ready for it at this point.
And I think one of the cool things that I'm sure they're going to highlight in that series is just, the competitiveness in your family. And you have, siblings that are into martial arts as well, which I don't think has really been discussed that much. How are they feeling about everything? Just getting that spotlight, from yourself, just having this, documentary series sort of looking behind the scenes.
I think it's going to be pretty exciting for most of them. I think they're excited about it. They're all fighters, my whole family. So you got me, then you got a brother after that, and then the rest of them down are all trading their black belts in something. The big one, Shaler. So I think he's going to end up fighting here very soon. He's almost 18. And I just think they're all going to do very, very well if they choose to pursue it. Right now, they have infinite potential.
And I got to mention, a lot of this is being set up through your business manager, Amanda, who's, really just very well versed in this. I mean, I saw the website. I was very impressed. It's really cool to see the merchandise they're making. How nice is that you don't really have to do that? Some fighters do. They have to figure out how to do that on their own. But you have someone that's really, taking a grasp of this thing, running with it, and you don't even have to worry about it. Plus, it's someone you're very close to as well.
Yeah, no. Amanda Ewan, by the way, she's doing fantastic. And her... she has a business background, and we kind of linked up about 4 or 5 months ago. We also have a family connection, a pretty deep one. But since we started working together, it's just been going really, really well. And as I said, I've had a little bit more time with the knee, so we've been focusing on brand building.
And just to give people a timeline, when can we expect to see the website? When can we expect to see, the docu-series? Like you said, they're going to start working with you in December. Any timelines for that you can kind of reveal to my audience here?
The website will be up today. So it's been a long time coming. We've been working on it for quite a while, and there'll still be tweaks made as we go, but it'll be up and running today.
How does it feel to be a business owner and have your own merchandise and all that? I'm sure you've had shirts before, but the designs are really cool, and it's very much mountain theme. You must be happy about that.
Yeah, well, every fighter's got a T-shirt at some point. It's a little bit different. It's something I wanted to stay away from for a long time, and then you're just doing the shirts, and it's not that hard. And then you start branching out. So it's exciting and it's interesting and it's not as awful as I thought it'd be.
And I'm sure too with the trails that you go on and everything else, I'm sure you get a lot of questions of people asking you, hey, where is this? And now you can direct them to the website. That must be a little bit easier for you as well, not having to answer so many questions.
That'll be a lot easier. And I also just struck up a partnership with All Trails. So that's pretty exciting. But it's something that I would have liked to have, for example, when I'm looking up for trails, it's like, I don't want just the trailhead, the mileage. I want the information. Like, what do I need? What's going on here at this time? So it's exciting. It's something that I would like to use.
And to give people an idea, what is your favorite trail? I think we've talked about this before, but just to give our audience an idea here, what is sort of your go-to favorite trail that you like going on with the dogs?
My go-to favorite, like little in and out hike, like 10 miler, it's Showers Lake. So it's something I've been doing for a long time. It's beautiful.
Excellent. Well, Aspen, I'm so happy to see you get this website launched. I'm really excited to see it and the feedback. And like I said, reaching a different audience than just the MMA fans. You're going to get, hikers. You're going to get animal lovers who love dogs. I think it's a really win-win there. Anyone you want to thank? Any sponsors? Any social media you want to plug as we're wrapping things up? I'll give you the last word.
I definitely want to thank Amanda England for all her help. TYC Clothing, which has been a great partner. Bionic Pets for everything that we do on a daily basis because it's troubleshooting all the time. And just everybody else that's helped recently and in the past and in the future. Just thank you. I appreciate it.